हाँ
प्रणाम सर। प्रणाम सर।
सर एसके वर्मा सर, संगल सर, संगल सर।
हाँ बताइए।
हाँ एसके वर्मा सर, हम लोग के डिप्टी डायरेक्टर सर कुछ बात करना चाह रहे हैं आपसे।
हाँ जी, हाँ 1 मिनट दीजिए मुझे। मैं यहाँ
प्रणाम सर, मैं एसके वर्मा बोल रहा हूँ।
प्रणाम वर्मा जी। हाँ
प्रणाम सर जी। सर
हाँ।
प्रोग्राम शुरू करते हैं सर।
हाँ जी बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
Now I request our deputy director sir to give permission to start the inaugural function of the 5-day online faculty development program on Diksha Aram, that is student induction program being organized by Mechanical Engineering Department of NIT Patna.
Yes sir, please go ahead. Please start the program.
Thank you sir. I request after Honorable Deputy Director Professor S.K. Verma to welcome the chief guest of the function, Professor Rajiv Sangal, learned speakers, faculty members of the institute, and participants of the 5-day online faculty development program. Verma sir, please.
Yeah. Honorable Director sir, Professor P.K. Jain, in his absentia, chief guest of today's inaugural function of FDP on Universal Human Values or Diksharam, Professor Rajiv Sangal Sahab, Head of the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Dr. Amit Kumar, Coordinator of this program, Dr. Yogesh Kumar, all deans, head of the departments, PIs, and my dear participants. I welcome you all in the inaugural function of FDP on Universal Human Values or Diksharam. In fact, it is my great pleasure, and more than that, it is an honor to me to welcome the chief guest of today's function, Professor Rajiv Sangal Sahab. Professor Rajiv Sangal is the ex-director of the Indian Institute of Technology, BHU, Varanasi. He holds a BTech in Electrical Engineering from IIT Kanpur and MS and PhD in Computer and Information Science from the University of Pennsylvania. He is known for his work on computers and processing of human languages, and in particular on automatic translation among Indian languages. Before joining the post of Director IIT BHU Varanasi, he led a newly established research university, namely IIT Hyderabad, for 11 years as its director. In the new university, he helped create an innovative academic structure around research centers rather than departments. A radical research-oriented undergraduate curriculum integrated transdisciplinary BTech MS programs, research that tries to connect with society and industry, and an environment of experimentation, openness, and caring. He designed and helped make human values course a regular part of the academic curriculum at IIT Hyderabad in 2005. It has played a major role in shaping the atmosphere of the institute and drawing attention to larger human and societal concerns. There is also an attempt to run the institution on these principles. Since then, the course has spread to several universities in India and abroad. His research in natural language processing led to the development of computational Peninian grammar (CPG) framework. It has been applied to parsing, semantics, and morphological analysis of Indian languages, etc., and forms basis of several machine translation systems among Indian languages as well as English. He leads, mentors the multi-institutional consortium that has developed MT systems for 18 Indian language pairs. He has authored 4 books and many research papers. He is a fellow of the Indian National Academy of Engineering and of Computer Society of India. He was given Vasik Award in 2008. As the president of NLP Association India from 2002 onwards, he helped organize the committee of NLP researchers and started ICON, a high quality annual NLP conference. He is referee for many major conferences such as IJCNLP, ICON, COLI, NG and ACL, and has been on the editorial board of journals Computational Linguistics, Corpora, ACM, Transactions of Asian Language Processing, Machine Translation, NL Engineering, etc. He was a member of the National Review Committee for PG programs in engineering in India from 1996 to 98. He headed the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at IIT Kanpur during 1987 to 90, where he spent 15 years as a faculty member. So once again, I welcome you, sir, in this inaugural session of FTP, and I extend my warm welcome to all the participants. Thank you, Dr. Amit Kumar and Dr. Yogesh Kumarji, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your kind words have encouraged all of us, including participants. And this faculty development program is destined to deliver good results under your dynamic leadership and support. Now, I will take few minutes of your valuable time to introduce the topic to the participants. Respected Honorable Deputy Director, Professor S.K. Verma, sir, Professor Rajiv Sangal, sir, Chief Guest of the inaugural function, faculty members, research scholars, and other dignitaries present in this faculty development program, and my dear participants. Once again, a very good morning to all of you. Transition from school to university or college life is one of the most challenging events in a student's life. When new students enter an institution, they come with diverse thoughts, backgrounds, and preparations. Their languages, food habits, and daily routines are quite different. They come into a new, unfamiliar environment, and many of them have little knowledge of university or college life. An important task, therefore, is to welcome new students to higher education and prepare them for the new role. Purpose of student induction program is to help new students to adjust and feel comfortable in the new environment, inculcate in them the ethos and culture of the institution, help them to establish bonds with other students and faculty members, and expose them to a sense of large purpose self-exploration. The term induction is generally used to describe whole processes adjust to or acclimatize to the new roles and environment. In other words, it is a well-planned event to educate the new entrants about the environment in a particular institution and connect them with the people in it. Students' induction program engages with the new students as soon as they come into the institution before regular classes start. At the start of the induction, the incumbents learned about the institutional policies, processes, culture and values, and their mentor groups are formed. It is also suggested to develop universal values in the new entrants during student induction program. The students induction program could cover a number of different aspects such as socializing, associating, governing, experiencing universal human values. The following activities should be preferably included in the program, like physical activities, mentoring, familiarization to department, creative arts and culture, literary activities, lectures by eminent people, local visits, as well as extracurricular activities in the institute. At last, it may be concluded that the induction program is designed to make the newly joined students feel comfortable, sensitize them towards exploring their academic interests and activities, reducing competition and making them work for excellence, promote bonding within them, establish relation between teachers and students, and make them comfortable in the new environment. I am happy to learn that about 4,000 participants have registered in this course. Mostly faculty members from higher education institutions have registered to attend this program. I extend cordial welcome to all of them. Now I request Dr. Yogesh Kumar from the Department of Mechanical Engineering, NIT Patna, to throw some light on this FDP. Yogesh ji. योगी
सर मैं बाद में कर दूंगा वर्मा सर का और अपना करके फिर ट्रांजिशन करेंगे और आप लोग
Sir, as we have discussed, due to some shortage of time, since we are having a meeting of Senate, Yogesh ji will be speaking after few minutes. So now I will request our chief guest, Professor Rajiv Sangal sir, to address the participants. Sir, please. Sangal sir, please.
So welcome to all the participants, and thanks to Professor Jain, Director NIT Patna, Professor Verma, Dr. Amit Kumar, and Dr. Yogesh Kumar. It's wonderful to be present here. It's very heartening to see a large number of participants who have joined. I recall this was the year 2003 in IIIT Hyderabad that we are looking for something that will motivate our students and also open up their vision to larger goals in life. This was a time when the dot-com burst was taking place. There was a lot of enthusiasm for globalization and so on, and people were forgetting their own connectedness to their family, to their institution, to the society. So at that time, I was wondering what we can do to connect our students with faculty members, with the institution, with the society, where they also have larger goal than simply getting a job, and a job with a good package. So at that time, I came across Jeevan Vidya, and I remember this workshop that was conducted, and in the workshop, there was a discussion, and at the end of the workshop, I suddenly found that here is something that can be part of education. Why? Because it establishes a dialogue. It does not tell do this or do that like in a moral science class. So the universal human values is very different from a moral science class, where the major process is that of dialogue and thinking, discussing together, and then seeking answers and solutions to problems that the students might be facing. And with that, the first course, compulsory course in Universal Human Values, was launched in 2005 July at IIIT Hyderabad. And we did intensive experimentation for several years, 3-4 years, and it yielded extremely good results, and it sort of started spreading. It spread to some 20 universities, It spread to UP Technical University, called UPTU at that time, and after that Punjab Technical University, as well as several universities in Andhra Pradesh, the unified Andhra Pradesh at that time, where not just engineering but also BA, BCom, BSc programs. And the results of that were very interesting, and we will talk about them in the second session. And after that, AICT adopted it, UGC adopted it in the form of student induction program, which is more than universal human value part only. But the universal human values forms the core, the pivot of the student induction program or Diksharam. Now, in these 17, 18 years, the journey that we have gone through as a nation, as societies that have their own dynamics. And one thing I might say that when we look at institutions, there are three levels which are there in the institution. The first level, which is most visible, the outer level, that consists of systems and procedures. So what will be the curriculum, what will be the grading system, how many credits will be there, how will the teaching be organized, the laboratories, the faculty requirements, and similarly regulations about faculty, about staff, about students, and not just studies but games, discipline, and all that. These all form the part of the first layer called systems and procedures or processes. This is the most visible one. This is what is mandated by AICT, UGC, and of course the universities, including the institutions. Now, there may be two institutions which have identical procedures and systems, and yet one may be functioning extremely well and the other might not be functioning very well. So this is also a reality. So what is different? So there in the second layer, which is underneath, which is the second deeper layer, and that is of culture. So what is the culture of the institution? How do people relate with each other? How do they talk? What do they talk about? What are the aspirations that people want to do? And with respect to that, do people work for excellence, sincerity? This is all part of culture that is there. It is less visible than the first layer. So many times this component is ignored, and we don't, and later we realize that the culture part is extremely important. And once culture is set in, it lasts for a long time, 2 decades or more. I've seen that in the IITs, IIT Kanpur. Once a culture is set up, then things continue properly well, and one has to put in much less effort in building the right environment. Then, however, as changes take place, as new people enter the institution, both as faculty and as students, and also societal changes are taking place, new technologies come in. So this culture undergoes a change, and without realizing what is happening, we sometimes lose the culture, and that also I have seen, including in the IITs. So there is a third layer which is yet more deeper than culture, the layer of culture. And it took me a long time to understand this. And this third layer is that of values. What do we value? And what do faculty value? What do students value? What does institution value? What does director value? And these values Yeah. Can you hear me now? I just lost the connection.
हाँ sir, you are audible sir.
Okay. Did I lose a part of it? Just few maybe.
Sir, 5 seconds I think.
Okay, okay. So I'll basically continue. So these values form the core. Now the problem is that people say values are relative. You have different values, I have different values. So out of all these so-called values, we have to identify the universal core. And that universal core is what I understood from Jeevan Vidya when I myself went through a workshop in 2003. And based on that, we designed a course. And these values are universal no matter where you are on earth, whether you are in Singapore or America or Australia or China or India. These universal human values are the same. They are within us, and these values determine what culture prevails in an institution. And if these values are set right, if we become aware of the values, then the culture also develops accordingly. And as external changes take place and cultural changes are required, those cultural changes take place in alignment with values. So the culture doesn't deteriorate, it actually improves. So these universal human values form the base, and based on this entire program has been designed. And the method is that of dialogue, samvad, where things are discussed and we arrive at common understanding along with students. And when we do this, the role of educational institutions comes out in society. The educational institutions were not meant to be mirrors of society. If society something has gone wrong, it comes into educational institutions. No, that is not part of the design. The educational institutions are meant to be thought leaders, and they provide thought, they educate the next generation with the right thought. And as time progresses, the society keeps improving with better understanding of the thought, with the universal human values, and the resulting culture, and therefore the resulting society and the systems and processes all work out. So this is the basic design of this course, where the institutions have to play an important role. Now, when I say institutions have to play an important role, or rather the role that is destined for them, that is what they are meant for, then faculty is at the forefront of delivering that message, that education, that understanding to students. So the true role of a faculty member as a friend, philosopher and guide of the student comes out. So we become friend of the student, but at the same time also a guide. And when we are a friend and a guide, we are also a philosopher. And the student listens to us, goes through a thinking process, a dialogue takes place, and through that dialogue, the student gains an understanding. Now, this can happen only when we as faculty members understand our role. And these FTP, the Faculty Development Program in Universal Human Values, are really designed so that the faculty realize their true role and their true potential and how it can be delivered through educational institutions. So the goal of this faculty development program is to convey the basic idea behind universal human values and how it affects the culture and the systems. And when we realize this role, then how do we pass on the message? How do we pass it on to students? So that becomes now the content of the faculty development program. So the need for it is because we as faculty have to be prepared to convey, we have to convey these values and then carry it out as part of the student induction program, which brings about a change in the atmosphere of the institution. So how do we convey that content and methodology? How is also part of the this workshop on faculty development program. So I look forward to being with you, and uh, I, I'll be
that we faculty have to understand our true role as friend, philosopher, and guide. And through this guidance, we can provide, more understanding in the next generation, which will bring about a change in society. So the true role of educational institutions will actually come out through this, and we will all be prepared as faculty members to play a leading role in how education and institutions can transform society. Thank you. So I look forward to meeting you and meeting you. I'm talking in the second session, and I'm sure that this, and I hope that this workshop will be extremely useful for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajiv sir, for your kind words for during this inaugural function. Now there is some technical issue. Just okay. So now I will talk little bit about the brief background and what we are going to do in this current FDP. Let me share my PPT. Just wait. Okay, Honorable Professor, Honorable Chief Guest of the inaugural function, Professor Rajiv Sangal sir, uh, Dr. Amit Kumar, Head of Department, Mechanical Engineering, dear participants, very good morning to all of you. Since the time for this session 1 has already been passed, so I will cut short my presentation and I will talk in short how we are going to conduct this FDP and what has been the background to conduct this FDP. Okay, so if we talk about my presentation, I have 3 points to talk in very short time: background, organization of current FDP, and post FDP what we are going to do. Okay, and if we talk about background of UHV courses, that is Universal Human Values. So how this course was initiated? Okay, so this course was initiated as by the name Human Values courses at IIIT Hyderabad first time in 2005, where Professor Rajiv Sangal was the director of IIIT Hyderabad at that time, and the course was introduced with the name Human Value course. Okay, so this course was, I think, a mandatory course at IIIT Hyderabad for all the students of undergraduate courses. Okay, so this course was running at IIIT Hyderabad successfully, and there was a long success story of implementation of this course at IIIT Hyderabad. Okay, so from this success story, okay, from this success story, the AKTU Lucknow, which was previously known as UPTU Lucknow, there was a meeting of Board of Studies in 2009, and where Professor Prem Brad, who was the Vice Chancellor of this university UPTU, which is now known as AKTU, he was so impressed that with the success story of IIIT Hyderabad, they adopted this course under the title Human Values and Professional Ethics. Okay, so this course was started at AKTU in 2009, and it was made part of regular curriculum from July 2009 onward for the students of the first year in the second semester. Okay, and on the similar pattern, the course Human Values and Professional Ethics was adopted by Punjab Technical University when Dr. Rajneesh, under the Vice Chancellorship of Dr. Rajneesh Arora during the year 2011. Okay, so as I told that this course, mandatory human value course, was started in 2005 at IIIT Hyderabad, and till 2013, Professor Rajiv Sangal was there as the director of the as director of IIT BHU in 2013, and the course, the new courses with the name Universal Human Values 1 and 2 were made mandatory for the undergraduate students. Okay, so these courses, Universal Human Values 1 and 2, were running at IIIT Hyderabad when Professor Rajiv Sangal was the director, himself was the director of the IIT BHU. Okay. Okay. So during his tenure, since this course ran in 2014 as well as 2015, okay, later he realized that the impact of this course as for the undergraduate student, when the student is entering in his graduate degree, so he redesigned the Universal Human Values course 1, and he added some few more activities with the name which was given. It was Student Induction Program. Okay, so in
2016, Professor Rajiv Sangal implemented a new thing that was with the name of Student Induction Program, which was having UHV as a major component. There, of course, there were some other components also. Okay, so this Student Induction Program was implemented first time in IIT BHU in the year 2016. Okay, so this program was, I think, about to finish on this 21 days induction program was implemented. Okay, so this was about to complete on, I think, 21 or 22 August. I don't remember exact date, but it was supposed to be completed by the third week of August. Okay. So during that time, there was a meeting of Council of IITs on 23rd August 2016 at IIT Delhi. Okay, so Professor Rajiv Sangal gave a presentation on the outcomes or on the implementation of student induction program at IIT BHU. Okay, so this during this meeting, all the directors of IITs they appreciated the presentation of Professor Rajiv Sangal sir, and the minister himself, Honorable Minister Professor Honorable Minister Shri Prakash Javadekar ji was present there, and it was advised to all IITs that they should conduct similar kind of induction program at their institution. Okay. Of course, in this meeting, there were a lot of other officials from MHRD, TechCube, AICT, and UGC. Okay, so they also came forward, and NPUIU, that is the TechCube third, they also made it mandatory in 2017 for all colleges affiliated to TechCube, that the institute which were receiving funds from TechCube third. Similarly, AICT made it announced a mandatory student induction program as a part of their model curriculum, which was announced in January 2018. Okay. In the same line, UGC also adopted this student induction program in 2018, which was announced as student induction program. But in 2019, when our education minister, Sri Ramesh Pokhriyal ji, when he became the minister, I think in the May 2019, so he gave the new name, that is the Diksha Aram, to this program. He said since it is in the beginning of the degree, so it should be Diksha Aram, and the end of the degree program is already known as Diksha. Okay, so the name, this is how this name Diksha came, and he released a guide to Diksha, that is Guide to Student Induction Program for all UGC colleges and universities in July 2019. Okay, this is a short summary of the student induction program, or you can say Diksha, how this course has been evolved from mandatory human values courses to student induction program or Diksha. Okay, now I will come to the organizational part of the current FDP, how we are going to conduct. So this link has been shared with all of you. You are supposed to visit all the sessions. You can find session wise. If you will visit this link, you will find detailed program schedule. Okay, so some of you might be having difficulty or might not be have noticed that there are links for each session. Okay, the single link will not work for the whole program, because we are supposed to put the recording of each session, and for that we have to create a separate link. Okay, so we have created separate links for each session. This is a typical day-wise schedule. Normally we will start at 10 a.m. Every day. Second session will be from 12 p.m. noon, and then our third session will be at 2:45. Okay, So this is how our daily schedule will continue for rest 4 days, that is for whole 5 days. And under this, you can see there is a one more column, YouTube recording. So we will be providing YouTube recording for the participants who are not able to join online during this online mode of course. Okay, so if you are not able to join, you can you need not to worry. You can watch the YouTube recording of these sessions. Okay, so here under YouTube recording session, your YouTube recording will be provided. Okay, and there is one more column, that is presentation or PPT. So we will also be sharing the PPTs and presentation which will be used by all presenter or panelists. Okay, so this will be our main daily schedule, and there will be end of quiz, end of day assignment, which will be in the form of mandatory quiz and reflection quizzes. Okay, I will explain these. Okay, under assignment, what you have to do, there will be mandatory quizzes. Normally, we will give 10 quiz per day. Okay, so if 10 quiz per day for 5 days, it will be total of 50 quizzes for the whole program. Okay, so these quizzes will be objective types, and you have to choose the correct answer. Okay. Okay. So there were a lot of queries on the e-certificate, that how do participants will be eligible to receive e-certificate. Okay. So since this FDP is for in 2 modes, that is for live for the participant who are attending live, and another one is offline mode, that is the participants who are not live but they are watching the YouTube recording of all sessions. Okay, so under the online mode, we have policy that participants should attend all the sessions. They should not miss more than 2 sessions. They are expected to submit the end of day assignment. Okay, it is mandatory to submit end of the day assignment whether you are participating in online mode or offline mode. Okay. Under online mode, you have to secure 40% marks. Okay, but under offline mode, you have slight flexibility. You can watch recording. You need not to come live, but it is mandatory to submit day of end of day assignment, and you have to secure at least 60% if you have opted for offline mode. Okay, so you will get e-certificate only if you get marks 60% marks. That is out of 50 questions, 10 questions per day, and if we give 1 mark to every question, then you have to secure 3 marks out of 10. That is 50 marks out of 50. Okay. So this way, this is how we will decide the eligibility for your e-certificate. Okay. Now I will come to the third part, which is the post FDP section. Okay. So how after this FDP, what should we expect from our participants? We will be sharing a sheet, post FDP section sheet, and of course, since there are a large number of participants, people want to collaborate with us for conducting collaborative FDPs. There have been a lot of queries in past. Okay, so this time we have decided to open the collaboration with other institutions. The other institutions which are interested to be part of this USB FDP, or if they want to conduct FDPs in collaboration with NIT Patna, they are most welcome. We will be sending the details for the collaboration. Okay, so this is a short summary which I wanted to tell to all of you. Now I will come to the closing because there was a urgent meeting, so other speakers, other resource person like Professor Amit Kumar and Professor S.K. Verma sir, our Deputy Director, they all have gone to attend the meeting. And this I will end up here. Thank you all. And now we will start national anthem. I expect to all of you to please stand up at your place. I finished in a very short time and very quickly, I think. Okay, so we will play national anthem and you are supposed to start at your place. Just a minute.